Hugh Kennedy alleges he was sexually abused in the 1970s by Australian priest Father Dennis Alexander.
I really would like this man to come back, face justice as he should.
Dennis Alexander denies he abused children in Scotland. In 2013, he was confronted with the allegations at home in Sydney.
I don't care who you are, mate. Just get off my property or I'll call the cops, okay?
The 154-page report found that between 1970 and 2015, the church received more than 3,000 complaints of child sexual abuse from over 1,750 victims and complainants filed against more than 900 people connected to the church. The report also noted that sexual abuse was a continuing trend, not just a historical one, with more than 100 allegations of abuse being reported every year since 2016. In reference to historical accounts, the report uncovered the church's maneuvers to protect alleged perpetrators by shuffling them between different parishes while failing to support victims and survivors. It highlights the case of Father James Robinson, who was moved to another parish after complaints were made against him in the 1980s. After fleeing to the US, he was eventually extradited back to the UK and ultimately convicted in 2010 for 21 sexual offences against 4 boys and was sentenced to 21 years in prison. One survivor reported that between the ages of 11 and 15, they'd been abused hundreds of times by a priest, and after every instance, they were required to make confession. Another case was revealed of appalling sexual abuse inflicted upon pupils at Ampleforth College and its adjoining junior school in North Yorkshire. Furthermore, one particular survivor who provided evidence to the inquiry claimed that thousands of pounds had been spent by the Diocese of Westminster to employ lawyers to keep victims at an arm's length while they built their case. Lawyers representing the victims, as well as activist groups and support groups for survivors, have called for the immediate resignation of Cardinal Nichols. As per the Vatican's Code of Canon Law, Nichols did in fact offer his resignation to the Holy See as he was almost 75 years old, but that resignation offer was due only to his age and not due to the surrounding scandals of covering up abuse. Ultimately, the resignation wasn't accepted by Pope Francis, who, in turn, instructed Nichols to continue as cardinal and as leader of the Catholic Church in England and Wales. The report documents a shocking amount of abuse, but also notes that the true scale of misconduct is likely far worse, and that many more cases may remain undocumented.
How often did this happen?
It was just something that was so frequent, so common, it was sort of what we expected to happen.
It was normal.
It was normal.
It takes, I'm 40 now, and it's taken me this long, last year, to come to terms and actually accept that this was nothing more than depravity.
Would you like an apology from the Archbishop of Canterbury on behalf of the Church for them not taking action?
Yes. I'd like them to explain that simple humanitarian processes were not in place, regardless of legislation, regardless of all the red tape. You know, someone's been hurt here. Let's deal with that. You know, let's do something about it. Let's be, the church that we've been for 2,000 years, helping other people. Where is that? It's a complete contradiction. It's made me really consider and wonder about what the church is all about.
Never occurred to me to tell anybody. When the head teacher's been abusing you, who do you tell?
Because you don't know what I feel inside me. You don't know the hurt I am. You said it was non-adversarial. My God. 7 barristers throwing questions at us, non-stop. I attempted to commit suicide. There's the woman who saved me from committing suicide on my way down from Dublin after spending 5 days at the commission. 5 days I spent at the commission. They brought a man over from Rome, 90-odd years of age, to tell me I was telling lies. That I wasn't beaten for an hour, non-stop, by 2 of them. By 2 of them, non-stop, from head to toe without a shred of cloth on my body. My God, Minister, and could I speak to you and ask your leader, would you stop making a political football of this? You hurt us when you do that. You tear the shreds from inside our body. For God's sake, try and give us some peace. Try and give us some peace and not to continue hurting us. That woman will tell you how many times I jump out of the bed at night with the sweat pumping out of me because I see these fellas at the end of the bed with their fingers doing that to me and pulling me into the room to rape me, to bugger me and bait the shite out of me.
Put it into a cupboard in my head and I shut the cupboard door.
I think it's too late for me. I don't think I'll ever get any, if you like, justice for what happened to me in that school because I think the elements are gone. I think the evidence is gone. I think the people are gone. Particularly, I think the perpetrators will be gone. I think it's affected the way I relate to people, my emotional state, my psychological state. I think it fucked me up basically, emotionally and psychologically. I don't let people touch me. I cut my own hair. I don't even let a hairdresser touch my hair. You know. So it's had quite a devastating effect in terms of how my life's been. It's always there.
But with me, it was the headmaster, John Burns. He would send somebody to go tell him I want him in my room. And I'd go in and he used to make me take my clothes off and then he'd pull me onto his knee and he'd start interfering with me.
And was he disrobed at this time as well?
No.
So he still had it, he was still fully clothed,
yeah.
But you were naked?
Yeah.
And he started
He
touching
used to play with himself when he was doing it.
He was playing with himself
yeah.
as well as you?
Yeah. And then he'd say, put your clothes on, leave. That was it. He never spoke to me or anything. But every time he did it, I absconded straight afterwards.
How many times did that happen?
Probably 8 or 10 times.
So quite a few times.
Yeah, yeah. You couldn't get away with it these days, could you?
No. Did you ever say anything to the police or any of the authorities about what had happened to you?
Nobody.
Why did you not?
I don't know. I think we were all ashamed of it. Because they're all preaching all the time. It was a Catholic approach school. And they were forever going on about God and Jesus and church and all this, and then doing that. Yeah. You know, which goes against everything.
So do you think that the church were involved in some sort of cover-up?
They had to know. You know, they had to.
Les went to the police. By that time, both of the men he says abused him were long dead. He's had constant nightmares and flashbacks and has been diagnosed with PTSD.
I stopped going to church.
You lost your faith?
Lost my faith. Yeah. You see how the church in Boston tried to sweep things under the carpet, and you read about cases in this country and other parts of the world. I lost my faith.